this is obviously the 100 days of President Donald Trump. I think, Chris, the most consequential 100 days of any president's first term or second term I have ever seen. The slogan you've heard, promises made, promises kept, could not be more profound. He is the most interesting, consequential, magnetic politician I have ever seen. And I include terms of personality, people like Bill Clinton, who I thought was a magnificent personality, didn't agree with his policies, or Barack Obama, or even Ronald Reagan. He's bigger than all of these people, I think, combined. Generally speaking, I said this during the show earlier, Chris, when you've been a one-term president, as Jimmy Carter was, your dog won't sniff you. When you're a one-term president like George Herbert Walker Bush, you can't get a table at Fatburger. This guy was, at the time, perceived to be a one-termer. He maintained control over the party, I think tightened his control over the party, and came roaring back, and what became the biggest comeback I have ever seen.
It's amazing. He brought that up tonight, as a matter of fact. I know you were in the middle of your show, so maybe you weren't able to see all of his rally. It went about an hour and a half there in Michigan, and one of the things he said, he always likes to point to the fake news media in the back covering the rally. He said, they all used to say, I'm just a one-termer, I'm an inconsequential president. Well, they got to check that off their list, because here I am for a second term. They can't say that anymore. And as I was watching him after that hour and a half, ticking off the laundry list, and I've got it here in front of me if you want to go over some of it in a bit, but he's done the YMCA plays. He does that Trump dance. The people are going bananas. And I thought the same thing, Larry. We've said it 1,000 times when we wrap up our show or we watch him live. There's nothing like him. He's a force. We'll never see anything like it again, I don't think. I really do wonder what the Republican Party looks like once he exits stage left, you know?
I remember election night 2020. Jake Tapper, CNN, comes out and says, well, for many Americans, to paraphrase former President Harold Ford, for millions of Americans, their long national nightmare is over. 4 years later, he's back!
and Larry, they're trying to write books now like they knew all along. Biden was diminished. We knew all along, the Axios guy and Jake, trying to sell books about how they were all on to Biden all along. Nobody buys that, of course. Trump had a great joke tonight. He said, look, Biden had me bested in one area. Nobody could fall asleep in a beach chair faster than that guy. I wish I could sleep as well as Joe Biden did, he said. I like that line.
You know, and I thought, Chris, I still remain hopeful that at some point half the country is going to wake up and say, okay, I may not like his style. I may not like the way he insults people, but I got to give it up to him on the economy. I got to give it up to him on the border. I thought maybe at some point that would happen. Let's just stay on the border. For 4 years, as you know, we were told you cannot secure the border without comprehensive immigration reform, and that's got to start with Congress. President Trump comes in, no bill from Congress. Within 1 month, the border is tighter than Ted's hatband. It seemed to me, if I'm a Trump-hating Democrat, at some point I would say, I guess I was lied to for 4 years. I guess it wasn't true you had to have comprehensive immigration reform because the man didn't have any of that and the borders are secured. I need to rethink my attitude, at least on the borders. I would have thought at least that might happen.
And when you see the walkway lined to the White House this week, I think it was just yesterday, he's lined the walkway with all of the worst, not just people that broke into the country, but broke into the country and committed heinous crimes. You know, it was interesting tonight, right off the top at the rally, Larry, he put together an official White House video that he rolled there in the rally. And to watch it, it was movie quality as they showcased rounding up these bad hombres, the Tren de Aragua guys, shaving them. I mean, it was like a full deal, you know, putting them in leg irons, shaving their beards, shaving their heads, frog marching them into their prison cells. It was a big dramatic production. It was very, very clear that was what Trump believes is his leading message. It's what propelled him to victory twice. I think that's pretty undeniable. And he's had great effect. And the Democrats, as you know, seem to think the hill to die on is to go to El Salvador and try to spring these guys and bring them home. It's bananas.
And Chris, on the DEI stuff, I was in Boston 2004 when this guy with a funny name, skinny guy with funny ears named Barack Obama came out there and gave that speech and brought down the House. There's no blue America. There's no red America. There's just one America, the United States of America. Yeah! There's no black America. There's no white America. Yeah, people went nuts. And when he ran for president, he gave an interview with Steve Croft of 60 Minutes, and Croft said, "Senator, if you don't win, will it be because of race?" Now, I'm home by myself, Chris. I sat back and I said, let's see how this man answers this question. And much to my surprise and pleasure, Senator Obama said, no. If I don't win, it will be because I have failed to articulate a vision that the American people can embrace. I said, hallelujah. I'm not going to vote for somebody who wants to tax, spend, regulate, and do what became Obamacare, but at least he'll stop the nonsense about America being systemically racist. For 8 years, he played race card after race card after race card, and more insidiously, he's the one who signed an executive order mandating DEI be part of most government functions. Biden took it to another level, so we've had DEI infused in our government, just the antithesis of what people thought Obama would do when he got elected. Donald Trump comes in and takes a sledgehammer to this DEI nonsense, and not just in government, but also in the private sector.
That's exactly right, and you can see who it makes the most angry. People like Susan Rice. I don't know if you saw the interview she recently gave on a podcast where she's just spewing venom about these white Christian MAGA men. And Michelle Obama, same deal. It was clear that was their agenda all along. Yeah, you're right. Trump completely annihilated that from all facets of government, and it drives them bonkers. They wanted to embed that, enshrine that, codify that in government for the rest of their days, and they thought they'd gotten away with it, and Trump just blew it up.
Now, Chris, the big wild card, of course, is tariffs. There would be mass suicide if, God forbid, Donald Trump is right. He's able to get our allies to drop the tariffs. If he's able to get China to back off the theft of our intellectual property and to drop their tariffs, and the economy goes booming. At that point, we might even see he's not going to run again, that we know of. At that point,
he did reference that. I will say, Larry, he mentioned, after he said, I'm now a second-term president, the whole crowd started to chant, 3, 3, 3.
Right.
Just to stick them.
But again, the tariffs, that's the wild card. I'm a free trader. I know you're a free trader as well. The Economics 101 is that even if your trading partners put tariffs on you, you shouldn't retaliate because all you're doing is causing your own citizens to pay more for goods than they otherwise would pay. But if Donald Trump is right, that this is a negotiating tactic designed to get our allies and trading partners to lower their tariffs, even Adam Smith and Milton Friedman said, ideally, there shouldn't be any tariffs or low tariffs with everybody with whom you trade. If Donald Trump pulls that off, the economy is going to take off like a rocket.
You bet, and it's so critical, and we're going to talk about this in the hour. It's so critical that big, beautiful bill happened, because without it, this could be problematic, no doubt about it. This is a slow deal that Trump's trying to implement with Scott Bessent and his economic team. Bessent came out today, as you know, and tried to explain a little bit in more detail. He seems to calm the markets because he's been around for 35 years or something, and he said, listen, in fact, I made note of this. He said, Trump believes in strategic uncertainty. Direct quote. I thought that interesting, meaning when things get a little wobbly and shaky and nobody knows exactly where he's coming from, right, that's when people are interested in coming to the table. Bessent is cool as a cucumber with it, and so is Trump.
And quiet as kept, Chris. 6 consecutive days, the Dow has ended the day in the green. 6 consecutive days. People aren't talking too much about that.
No, but Bessent made that point. They talk about when it historically drops after a few days, but they don't talk about the historic comeback, do they?
And regarding the borders again, I mean, how many fewer women are going to be raped? And men. There was one illegal alien that raped a boy. How many people are not going to be mugged because of the people that have been deported and are not now going to come because they're not welcome anymore? How many people now are going to be safer because of what President Trump has done in just 100 days regarding the border?
It's amazing what he's done. I think people feel safer again. They feel like the captain is steering the ship, and there's a lot to tout and celebrate. We're going to do it in this hour.
And, Chris, we only have a minute left in this segment. Either the price of eggs have gone down or they've not. Whoopi Goldberg says, I've not seen the price of eggs go down one dime. Nina does the shopping in our household. She says in 5 weeks they've gone from $9.99 a dozen to $6.99 a dozen. That sounds to me like a drop. I'm not saying President Trump deserves credit for that because it was partially the flu that did all this, but either it's true or it's not true.
My man, I was at the store with my wife several weeks ago, and I saw the price of eggs. A dozen eggs was somewhere up near $7, $8 where we shop. And it has, in fact, I can confirm, I was with her again. We purchased eggs just last week down in the $4 range where we shop. So that's true.
Now, can we at least give the man credit for presiding over an economy where the price of eggs has gone down? Can you at least concede that?